One of the benefits of Cyntergy right now is we can get to that concept level really quickly, so that makes it pretty inexpensive for the client up front. We've developed a lot of tools over the years to where we can get in and do some layouts fast and have a minimal fee up front, and we'll just do that basic conceptual design fee, and we won't have the whole contract and everything. You're not on the hook for any of that. So we really try to make that separation, because for every one project that we actually do and take all the way through, there's another 10 that we did the concept on, and it just didn't work financially. Yeah. So,
by the way, you guys have hit your one for this year. That's ours. So, anybody else? So it's already taken.
Everybody else.
It's already done. All right, how's it going? Welcome back to How to Invest in Commercial Real Estate. Today we have Josh Chesney, a special guest from Cyntergy. He's a principal and chief development officer of Cyntergy. So, Josh, tell us a little bit about you. I mean, Cyntergy is an architectural firm, but there's a lot going on in there.
Sure. Yeah, we are an architecture and engineering firm. So we have architecture and interior design. We also have mechanical, electrical, civil, fire protection. I'm probably leaving somebody off, but we've got all disciplines in-house, and we have about 142 people, regular staff.
Big. Nice.
Yeah, we're kind of at our max right now. We've never been this big, so we've kind of we've grown and contracted a little bit here and there, but now we're at 142. We have a dozen interns this summer too. So
wow. Oh my gosh.
It's a pretty full summer staff, so which puts us over 150 people. So yeah.
Man. So a background in Cyntergy, what are they mainly doing? Are you guys staying with what you've started with, or are you guys branching out into new stuff? I know we're using you for our office building, our design build, the Criterion building, but I know you've done, some other crazy stuff.
Yeah, actually, we started out in 1997, so we're almost 25 years old. We branched off of a firm that did a lot of Walmart, so we started out in the Walmart world. We still do about 35 to 40% of our revenue is Walmart, so we still have a nationwide Walmart program. And then we diversified. We thought, we don't want to have all our eggs in one basket, so we diversified it into some more government stuff. So we have some federal and state, local government contracts. And then about 6 or 7 years ago, we decided to really start to focus on the local market. And so that's what got us into more of your type of project, the office, the retail, churches and schools and that kind of stuff in the Tulsa market. So that's more of our regional team. So that's really the 3 levels of design that we have at Cyntergy.
Interesting. So I know you have a cool story on how you got hired there. Why don't you share with us how you got hired at Cyntergy?
Yeah, actually, I was a freshman at OSU back in it was in 2000, early 2000.
It's Oklahoma State for everybody.
Yeah, at Oklahoma State. And I was in the hall of the architecture building, standing next to a friend of mine, and one of the professors came up with a business card of one of my partners now and said, "Hey, I went to school with this guy," and he was giving it to my friend because I was too young to have an internship. And my buddy said, "Yeah, I actually have an internship this summer, but maybe Josh wants it." And he handed it to me, and he looked at me, and I'd never met this professor. And he looked at me, and his name is Mo, and it ended up being one of my favorite professors. But he looked at me, and he stared at me first, and he goes, "I'll vouch for you." Like, all right, deal.
That's hilarious.
So I called the card, got an interview, and I was in the first intern class at Cyntergy in the summer of 2000.
What year of college were you
in? 2004 is when I graduated from OSU. So
you were just a sophomore when you got that job, is that right?
Yeah.
Do the math
yeah,
right?
I was about to go into second year, which is a little early for architecture school.
Normally,
but
yeah.
When you walk into an interview and you say, "I don't care what you pay me, I just want the experience," you usually get the job.
Yeah, right.
Because they don't have to pay you anything.
That was a good opening line.
Yeah.
So what do you do for them now?
So now I'm a principal. So I am an owner of the company as of 4 or 5 years ago, and I'm the chief development officer. So I'm involved in a lot of the upfront conceptual design of the project, really going after clients and trying to develop those relationships before the projects hit. And then I try to stick with the project all the way through. The further we get into a project, the more architects and engineers we bring into it. So my role kind of goes down from there. It's more of just a client relations thing after that. But a lot of the business development guys in town really just want to do business development. And then as soon as the client is on the hook, they toss it over the fence and someone else does the concept and all that stuff. But I really think that to get a good concept, you have to be the guy who has the relationship.
Yeah.
So if I have a relationship, there's no way that I could walk into the office and tell an architect who's never met, say you guys, for example, hey, these guys are young and energetic and they want a cool building. See ya. It just doesn't work like that. So I really want to stick all the way through the conceptual design and make sure that that part is nailed down with the client before I back out a little bit. And even then, it feels to the client a lot of times that I back out completely out of the project, but I'm in the office all the time. And so our architects are constantly coming to me with, is this what we were thinking about in the initial concept? Does this agree with what we were doing initially? So I still have a lot of consulting kind of, I guess you could say, even though I'm not doing a whole lot of the work. But
well, we can vouch for that because our project is just about completed and you've been involved the whole way. So
Yeah, and we're really not far off that conceptual design either. I mean, if you put the
Yeah.
original design you did versus,
Right.
I mean, the completed docs, we're
Pretty close.
We're dangerously close, and Judd's done a great job, completing that.
So you have a commercial real estate person, and they're looking to do a new development. When do you advise they engage the architect?
For us, it's easier the earlier they can get us involved. And on that note too, we want to get the contractor involved as soon as we can. And I know a lot of contractors want a pre-con fee or something like that, but
No
It's
way.
insane.
a lot of times it's worth it just because you know that you're actually on the same page when you kick off the project.
Okay.
We can get in and do various levels of design where there's just a napkin type sketch, or if it goes all the way into renderings, and you guys have seen what we do with VR and videos and all that stuff too. So there are all these levels of concepts that we can do before we really get the project going. But I would recommend as soon as possible to get the architect involved.
So if let's say I have a project, I know I've got this 10 acres and I'm trying to decide, hey, how many multifamily units can I put? Or is that something that you guys help with early on just to kind of lay out the property before you get into fees, or is it immediately you're kind of trying to get an engagement letter and working on that?
Kind of like rough plotting.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, what that early stage looks like if someone's wanting to just get a concept, kind of just generally before they spend too much money and because they don't know what they can fit on there.
Yeah.
Well, I think one of the benefits of Cyntergy right now is we can get to that concept level really quickly, so that makes it pretty inexpensive for the client up front. We've developed a lot of tools over the years to where we can get in and do some layouts fast and have a minimal fee up front, and we'll just do that basic conceptual design fee, and we won't have the whole contract and everything. You're not on the hook for any of that. So we really try to make that separation, because for every one project that we actually do and take all the way through, there's another 10 that
Sure.
we did the concept on and it just didn't work financially.
Yeah.
So
By the way, you guys have hit your one for this year. That's ours. So anybody else?
So
it's already taken.
everybody else.
It's already done.
Now, can you guys do a concept without engaging civil, or do you need civil to understand the layout of the land in order to work your concept?
Well, that's one thing that I like about Cyntergy is the fact that we have civil right next door. I mean, right down the hall from us. So you could do it without civil, but I wouldn't recommend it. I like to get their input just because you just never know what's sitting there. If there's a blue line stream that I'm not paying attention to, or the site is such a mess sometimes that we need to make sure we get that nailed down first. So I've done a lot of concepts without civil, but those are just basic sites that I know these are free and clear and they're good sites.
Right.
If we have anything that has any kind of question, it's nice to have the civil guys just take a look at it, because they can do their research and it doesn't take a lot of time. But say
No, that's good.
go
Good
or no
point.
go kind of thing.
Yeah. So, that brought Brian and I a lot of comfort in going with you guys, is the vertical integration. I know, I guess it's not that common, and I didn't realize that, because we were dangerously close with just hiring a civil person, because that was the first thing on our mind is, hey, we need to make sure our land is good. We need to make sure we can fit what we want to on it. And, we had the meeting with you and you're like, hey, we can do that. And it just seemed easier, but there's got to be other things than just, one contact person, advantages. Well,
a lot of the advantages you guys don't even see, you just kind of feel it in the pocketbook, because we don't have to like go out and hire all these different engineers, and a lot of times there's a markup on all of those. With us, it's just all integrated into one team. And I talk like, yeah, this is the best way, but like I said, I was hired as an intern from college and never saw anything else. This is what I've known. But when I look at other firms and just think, man, I can't imagine, I just designed this big cantilever on this building. I think it'll stand. Who do I call?
Right.
I gotta find a structural engineer, instead of walking down to the structural engineer and say, what do you think about this? Well, it needs to be about 2 feet thicker than you've got, So there's a lot of that back and forth that happens in the conceptual design that
It's free water cooler talk almost.
Yeah. For us, it's just how we work, and that's how I've grown up working. So I can't understand how someone else could do a concept and not actually have that, but it does help us a ton. But
I would think another benefit of the vertical integration is just, and tell me if I'm wrong, that you can not only do the concept, but you can provide information on budgeted cost. So whoever's doing the development can get a handle. For me, I'm going to be able to, if you tell me how much it's going to cost, I know how much I can rent things for, and I'm going to be able to back in the budget that way, but I don't always know how much it's going to cost. Is that something you guys can kind of provide to help give the project confidence to move past the concept?
yeah, speaking of one of the disciplines I knew I would leave off, construction administration is also part of our deal too. So even when we have a contractor, which we want to get a contractor as soon as we can, but even when we have that contractor number, we always take that number to our CA guys and say, what do you think about this? What are you seeing in the market right now? And the contractors, if you have the right contractor, they're going to be on top of it even more than we are. But it's nice to have that assurance of,
Right.
We'll just check it just to see what it's like, and that's what they deal with every day. Our director of CA is actually an architecture grad, so he comes from the architecture side, but he just likes boots and being out in the field.
Yeah, hopefully you don't have a contractor that's going to underbid it and get you on adders. So if you have a number from someone like you that you don't really care what the cost is, you just, you want the project to happen, but you're kind of an unbiased
Right.
third party. So that
Right.
gives some confidence on
It's
the
kind of a
on
back
the,
check
on the
to
cost.
see.
Yeah.
And if there's no contractor involved, we can also do the conceptual fee estimate from the beginning. So.
Okay. Nice.
It seems like an inherently challenging position to be in, because there's a lot of weight on materials and what you're actually drawing. You know what I mean? Not only from the developer, but the contractor too. And I think it's easy for contractors and architectural firms to get in quarrels, because it's easy to kind of point the blame on, the other person. And I guess, how do you make sure that, you're designing something that looks good, when somebody else has control over, different things, and how do you make sure you can always design something that, gives it a higher probable chance of being built? I mean, it's a lot to work through there.
I think one of the keys in the concept is just to stay away from proprietary systems. If you have a material that you want to use so bad that it has to be sole sourced from one guy, then you're probably going to be in trouble when the cost comes out. If you can just create a design that we can sub out these materials and make them work based on what our budget is, I think that makes a lot more sense. When you start to get into the proprietary, you can only get it sole source here, then that's when you run into cost issues. When I can say, all right, let's open this up to the bidders and see who's got an alternative that could actually make sense here,
Yeah.
and still looks good. We've done some installations on projects in the past where we didn't see an actual installed project, and we had value engineered it down to a level, and we put it up, and we were upset about it. So as of a few years ago, our new rule is, if we haven't seen it installed somewhere, we're not going to spec that product. We don't want to be surprised in the field by the contractor saying, oh no, that's what it looks like. Well, it didn't look like that in the catalog.
Yeah. Okay.
But
Gotcha.
That's what we do, is we go around, and if somebody's going to spec something, we go see it first.
So, you said you have a lot of national work. You said you're doing more local work. Give us, just a spectrum of what projects you guys have been a part on. Some maybe on the smaller end, some maybe on the insanely big end. I know Walmart is obviously a big one, and a lot of engineering, and geographically just everywhere. But you guys have been a part of some massive cool stuff. I don't know how much you can talk about either.
Yeah, I mean, we've been a part of a lot. Walmart has been an awesome client for, almost 25 years. It's just kind of been our baseline backbone of the company. It's been consistent. We've got a team now in place that just kills it. And it's fun to actually, because I don't touch hardly any of that, because if I did, I'd mess it up. They're so good at it now that they've just got this system, and it's fun to watch. It's fun to watch the success that they have too, because Walmart just came to us the other day and they want to get us into another program that they have just because of the good work that we've done over the years. So it's fun to see that grow. But on the local side, we did one of our kind of breakout projects was First Presbyterian Church downtown. It was a $32 million addition to a 1920s neo-Gothic limestone.
Yeah.
I was scared to death to do it. I remember
There was a lot of replication in that too, wasn't there?
Yeah, we did a full laser scan of the existing facade just so we could figure out the details of everything. So learning how to detail limestone, I was just a couple years out of college, and that was a tough one, but as we got through it, it was pretty amazing to see the finished product. And I think,
yeah, I've seen it. It is very impressive. Yeah.
Yeah. And once you get done, and now we're coming up on the 10-year anniversary of that project being complete, which is crazy to see. I took our interns through it a couple weeks ago, and it's still fun for me to walk through and talk about the project just because of how much fun that one was.
I'll bet.
Good client too. So.
There's got to be a lot of satisfaction in a project like that, seeing it from the development stage and actually getting it done. Yeah. A lot of pride in that, I would think.
Yeah, it is. And we work a lot with Mid-America Industrial Park right now. And so kind of on a different spectrum, you got the churches. This is more of an industrial side, but we did the district, which is the 30,000 square foot retail development out in Pryor.
Yeah.
And it's it's the best retail we've ever done. And it's so cool. It's got this community room that they call the bunker, and it's got this big outdoor stage area. The brewery, Fat Toad Brewery, is being built right now, so it's going to be an awesome spot.
I'm gonna have to drive out there.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people will. It's kind of a destination kind of thing. Once they start getting tenants filling it up,
yeah.
COVID kind of hit it as far as selling retail, but once that starts to fill in, it really is going to be a cool destination. And it's
Precision Equity has 4.5 acre retail hard corner site here in Tulsa. We may have to let you take a look at it.
Yeah, let's look at it. Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate you coming on today, man. Real quick, if you want to see some of Josh's work, some of Cyntergy's work, you can go to their website. Is it just Cyntergy.com?
Yep.
Cyntergy.com. You can go to our website, the CriterionFund.com, under properties. There's literally a virtual tour of our building. You can put it in the Oculus and everything. When I show people that, it blows their mind every single time. I put somebody in a virtual reality headset and they can punch through our building. And the first question is like, oh, who did that? I didn't even know that was possible. And it's like, I didn't know it was possible either. Talk to the guys at Cyntergy. I mean, it is ridiculous.
That is fun. I'm glad you guys like it. And that's one of the first things, or one of the last things that I've learned here at Cyntergy is always hire people smarter than you. That's my whole goal right now.
Or younger, techie.
Or both.
There you go.
Younger and smarter. So.
Well, I appreciate it again. Anyway, we'll catch you next time on
thanks,
how to
Josh.
invest in commercial real estate.
All right.
Thanks, Josh.
Thank you, guys.